For other people named Charles Francis Adams, see the Charles Francis Adams navigation page. Charles Francis Adams, Sr., was an American historical editor, politician and diplomat. He was the son of President John Quincy Adams and grandson of President John Adams, of whom he wrote a major biography. Adams served in the Massachusetts State Senate, before running unsuccessfully for vice president in the election of 1848. During the Civil War, Adams was Abraham Lincoln's foreign minister in London, where he played a key role in keeping Britain neutral while Southern agents were trying to achieve official recognition of the Confederacy. That meant conducting dialogue with both sides and monitoring the British connection in the supply of commerce raiders. He became an overseer of Harvard University, and built Adams National Historical Park, a library in honor of his father in Quincy, Massachusetts. Early life. He was born in Boston and attended Boston Latin School and Harvard College, where he graduated in 1825. He then studied law with Daniel Webster and practiced in Boston. He wrote numerous reviews of works about American and British history for the North American Review. Charles Adams and his brothers, John and George, were all rivals for the same woman, their cousin, Mary Catherine Helen, who lived with the John Quincy Adams family after the death of her parents. In 1828, John married Mary Helen at a ceremony in the White House, and both Charles and George refused to attend. Adams was elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives in 1841, served in the state Senate 1844 and 1845, purchased and edited the journal Boston Whig in 1846, and was the unsuccessful nominee of the Free Soil Party for Vice President of the United States in 1848. From the 1840s, Adams became one of the finest historical editors of his era. He developed his expertise in part because of the example of his father, who, in 1829, had turned from politics to history and biography. T.G. Sr. Adams began a life of his father, John Adams, but wrote only a few chapters before he resumed his political career in 1830 with his election to the U.S. House of Representatives. The younger Adams, fresh from his edition of the letters of his grandmother, Abigail Adams, took up the project that his father had left uncompleted, and between 1850 and 1856, he turned out not just the 2 volumes of the biography, but 8 further volumes presenting editions of John Adams's diary and autobiography, his major political writings, and a selection of letters and speeches. The edition, titled The Works of John Adams, Esq., 2nd President of the United States, was the only edition of John Adams's writings until the family donated the cache of Adams' papers to the Massachusetts Historical Society in 1954 and authorized the creation of the Adams Papers Project. The modern project had published accurate scholarly editions of John Adams's diary and autobiography, several volumes of Adams family correspondence, 2 volumes on the portraits of John and Abigail Adams and John Quincy and Louisa Catherine Adams, and the early years of the diary of Charles Francis Adams, who published a revised edition of the biography in 1871. He was elected a Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1857. Federal political career. As a Republican, Adams was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1858, where he chaired the Committee on Manufactures. He resigned to become U.S. Minister to the Court of St. James from 1861 to 1868. Powerful Massachusetts Senator Charles Sumner had wanted the position and became alienated from Adams. Britain had already recognized Confederate belligerency, but Adams was instrumental in maintaining British neutrality and preventing British diplomatic recognition of the Confederacy during the American Civil War. Part of his duties included correspondence with British civilians including Karl Marx and the International Workingmen's Association. Adams and his son, Henry Adams, who acted as his private secretary, also were kept busy monitoring Confederate diplomatic intrigues and the construction of rebel commerce raiders by British shipyards. Back in Boston, Adams declined the presidency of Harvard University but became one of its overseers in 1869. In 1870, Charles Francis Adams built the first presidential library in the United States to honor his father John Quincy Adams. The Stone Library includes over 14,000 books written in 12 languages. The library is located on the property of the Old House at Adams National Historical Park in Quincy, Massachusetts. During the 1876 Electoral College controversy, Adams sided with Democrat Samuel J. Tilden over Republican Rutherford B. Hayes for the presidency. Charles Francis Adams died in Boston on November 21, 1886 and was interred in Mount Wollaston Cemetery, Quincy. His children with Abigail Brown Brooks included Louisa Catherine Adams married Charles Kuhn, John Quincy Adams II, Charles Francis Adams, Jr., Henry Brooks Adams, Arthur Adams, Mary Gardner Adams married Drive, Henry Parker Quincy, Peter Chardon Brooks Adams. Ancestry.